Welcome to Latitude 40, redesigning tourism on a small island. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We acknowledge the Palawa people of the Trawulawai Nation and recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and culture of the islands. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. The first thing you'll notice on Flinders and the Furneaux group of islands is the breathtaking scenery. In every direction, what you see is like nothing else in the world. It's deeper than quiet beaches and coastlines, mountains and mist. These islands have a rich and dark history and an intensely passionate community that wants to reckon with its past and build the right future together. No one is here because it is the easiest place to live. Everyone is here because it's different. When something works on these islands, it tends to be small and special. As the rest of the world chases growth, we chase meaning. We have a complex relationship with change because we understand what it can bring. It's different here, and we make different invitations to visitors. For an unforgettable time on Flinders Island, learn to be one of us for a few days, a week, or the rest of your life. Slow down, listen, get lost, contribute. Don't try to change this place. Let this place change you.
I'm Debbie Clark.
And I'm Josie Major. We're honoured to be your hosts for this Latitude 40 series, sharing the stories of the Flinders Island community and the Island Away Regenerative Tourism Living Lab.
Hey, I'm Mel Telfer. I guess on Flinders Island I've got a few roles, one of them being running the Purple Swamphen, which is a kind of handmade shop featuring lots of local arts and crafts. I've got a few other roles as well. This year I'm teaching Year 11-12 biology at the school. I am a dental assistant about 1 week in 8 when the dentist comes over to Flinders. What else do I do? Oh, we run a concreting business, so I do the books for that and occasionally drive a concreting truck. And I volunteer on a few organisations, the ambulance being one and the local hall committee. So, yeah, between all of that and then trying to hang out at home with my horse and whatever rescue birds I've got and then actually create stuff, I don't tend to have a lot of time, but hey, that's Flinders.
So that's great to learn that's pretty typical, Mel, that people have multiple roles on Flinders. So help us understand a little bit about Flinders Island or life on Flinders. What makes it so unique and especially what do you love about it?
I think Flinders Island is really beautiful, just in its natural landscape and its climate. So it's a really stunning place to live. But I think what I love best about it is there's so many opportunities to get involved with the community and to kind of help the community become the place you want it to be. And so, yeah, there's that kind of balance between having this incredible natural wilderness that you want to get out and explore and have time to yourself, but then, yeah, you can dive right in and help run events or, with the ambulance, I can kind of help people, when they're having a really tough time. So, yeah, there's so many opportunities to, I guess, feel purpose and, structure and function in your life. Yeah. Having been involved in organising a few different events and such like here and seeing other events on the island, I feel like they work best when they've come from the locals or with the locals at heart. So, for example, we've got a film festival that happens every second year, like a 3-minute film, and there's usually a theme, and it's got really strong local support. I think because it's come from locals organising it and encouraging the locals to enter it, and then it can grow from there. And so in the last couple of years, they've had entries from all over the world because they open up the portal to, submit the films online, but they still, they'll choose a few amazing films from internationally, but it's always focused on the locals, and they're always the films that do the best. I don't think a film from not Flinders Island has ever taken out the top gong. So I guess anything that's built from the ground up on the island seems to go really well and have good support. We've got a few events like that, like the Furno Islands Festival, which is sort of our alternative to Anzac Day and Australia Day. Instead of having quite a divisive Australia Day celebration, quite a few years ago now, the local council and a few others decided that, no, let's have a celebration of the different cultures on Flinders. Let's celebrate their music and the food. And we shifted the dates just slightly. That has really grown strongly. So events like that seem to work well.
Well, and that speaks to the community really valuing the community itself, doesn't it? Sort of wanting to recognize who we are and what's our unique identity, and how do we create something around that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Visitors are always welcome at all these events, but it's not designed for them. It's designed for us. And I feel like that's a key difference. Yeah.
I think it's wonderful, like choosing what you want to celebrate and saying this is what's important to us, as opposed to, like you were speaking to before, it being, we're a unique place and we don't have to just do what the rest of Australia is doing, or, we can celebrate what's important to us.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just wonderful to listen to you talk about Flinders and just the warmth of the community, and just how strongly that's valued comes through, really resonates deeply when you speak.
Yeah, no, it is an amazing place. Yeah, we all look after each other on the whole. Yeah, it's incredible.
You can hear that in all of the roles that you've got. You've clearly got, able to contribute to so many different parts of the island life, like you say, like with the ambulance, and then with the young people, with the school, and with your artist community. I think that's so wonderful. You get to be a part of so many different parts of the community.
Yeah, it's funny lately, I've, particularly with the ambulance, been trying to work out if there's a German word for sort of like an honour to serve or something. It must be, because I can't, a few times with the ambulance, people have said to me, I don't know how you do what you do with that. It must be so confronting. But to me, it's like this sort of humble honour, kind of privilege. There's some kind of word around that, and I feel there must be a German one there that will work. But, this place really allows you to kind of feel that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not just there for yourself, you're there for others in your community.
I love that. This regenerative type thinking that Debbie and I are really interested in, that I know that has been part of the conversation on Flinders recently, and this idea of being a part of an ecosystem, and seeing yourself as a part of the community in that way. I think that's so beautiful what you're speaking to there.
Yeah, thanks.
So tell us about the Purple Swamphen, because I'm just think it's the most fabulous project. And so can you tell us about where it came from, and perhaps what role does it play in the community? What do you see as the Purple Swamphen's role?
Sure. So, we started up, it would be 8 years ago now. I just started getting into screen printing and kind of was all excited about printing shirts and things like that. And a friend of mine, Helen, she just started roasting coffee. And she needed somewhere to have her coffee roaster. And I thought, let's have somewhere to sell some shirts or something. And a little space became available in Whitemark. So we rented that and took that on, and it kind of grew out of there. A few years ago, Helen decided she wanted to focus on her family and her other roles. So she's a teacher as well, and a few other things. So I ended up taking it on solo, with all of the, I guess, pressures and freedoms that come with that. Yeah, and I guess I really love that I can sort of encourage the local people in their creativity, and no matter what they're making, it's like, make something and bring it in, and we'll see if we can find new homes for things. So that's kind of really exciting, seeing people's skills develop over the years, I guess. Yeah, and giving them that confidence to keep creating, because I feel that being creative is so much a huge part of being human. Yeah.
Could you tell us about one of the artists or the creators or a couple that really inspire you, or
oh wow,
hard to choose maybe?
It's so hard to choose.
Or maybe paint a broad picture for anyone coming into the shop, what they would see and what would be there.
So I guess my makers are into all sorts of different things, whether it's knitting or lino printing or watercolor, line drawing, leatherwork. There's a little bit of ceramic sculpture coming in, all sorts of things, really. It's really diverse. And yeah, I know a few people who, when they first started bringing things in, they'd be really kind of apologetic and, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if this is any good, and I don't know if anyone will want to buy it. So it's always really such an awesome feeling to kind of connect that product with a customer who loves it as well. And yeah, it really boosts, the person who's made it, just to think, it's not just me, there's other people out there who like what I'm doing.
Some of the products that you're selling or the artists are creating as repurposed items as well, right? So salvaging stuff that would otherwise go into landfill. Is that right? Yeah, correct. I've got a few different makers who, one particularly works with plastics and ropes she finds on the beach, and she'll turn them into either artworks like, wall hanging that is a lighthouse made out of different bits of plastic from the beach, or she'll make cards or key rings from the beach rope. So she's really starting to explore what she can do with all this kind of waste product that keeps washing up. And I've got another maker who will use baling twine from the hay bales to crochet baskets. And she plays around in that more three-dimensional space, with another waste product. That's great, right? Circular economy in action. If the waste is not, if the waste is not designed out at the design phase, you're making sure it's not going into landfill. Yeah,
finding a new purpose for it, hopefully at least giving it a bit longer usefulness before we have to, I guess, find out what to do with it after that.
So you've given us a bit of a sense of what the island's like, and it sounds like a lot of people have multiple roles, and there's a real creative aspect to people on the island too, by the sounds of it. Thinking about all these things and thinking about the island, what would a flourishing or a thriving Flinders look like to you? Like what does that look like? What would we see if Flinders was thriving or flourishing?
I guess I feel like there would be possibly a few more permanent residents. It just feels at the moment like there's a lot of work around, but not quite enough people to do it. So, that we're kind of hit I guess, a tricky balance, particularly during that first summer after COVID started, when we had so many people wanting to visit here, but there weren't enough people to work in the cafes or the other businesses to serve them all. And it was this really tricky thing of how do we make sure we can provide for the visitors, give them a good experience with what we have here, which at this point, just doesn't quite feel like enough residents to do those jobs. And it's not just, I guess, in the tourism and service and hospitality industries as well. Like with our concreting, we're flat out with that. My husband's working every weekend, and we've just taken on another guy, but there's not many people around available to work. So we could probably easily take on another couple of workers, but just finding them is tricky. So I feel like a flourishing Flinders probably needs a good base of locals to do all those roles. We come back to the housing issue, which finding, places for all of these people to live when they move here to work, that's a tricky thing. And I guess a lot of places around Australia are finding that at the moment particularly. So it's not a unique problem to Flinders, but we have had that problem for several years now. But we'll get there. I guess it'll all balance out somewhere though. It'll happen.
What drives that hope for you, Mel? Like, where does that come from? Where do you see kind of potential or hope in the direction that Flinders is heading?
I'm not exactly sure. I guess I'm just naturally optimistic that people will generally eventually, come together and find a path that works for everyone. But I guess I feel like Flinders is in a spot right now where we do get to make some choices around that, and I guess try to work out, what is the ideal visitor for the island. We have in the past had visitors come here who are expecting a lot more than what the island can deliver. And so to be able to, at this point, move towards who are we marketing the island to? What are we delivering to them? How can we make sure their expectations match up with what we can deliver to them? And so, it's good to be able to make those decisions as a community and, find the solutions.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you're going through this whole sort of process of figuring that out as a community. How do you kind of picture it? Like, if you picture the future for tourism on the island in a way that's really serving your community, what does that look like to you?
So thinking back to visitors I've seen in the past who really appreciated the island and loved it, they've come here not expecting, heaps. They come here with this open mind. They're not expecting coffee on every corner, like every 5 minutes. They're here to go, oh, yep, this landscape is incredible. These beaches are amazing. And, oh, wow, there's a cafe open today. That's awesome. I didn't expect that. Let's go and grab a bite to eat. So with that, I guess an appreciation for the limitations of the island, the rhythm of boat day, and understanding that, on a Monday there's not going to be heaps in the supermarket, but on a Wednesday it'll be fully stocked and we've got such good, really great supermarket. And I think if you come on the wrong day, you might not appreciate that. But, that once-a-week boat does set a rhythm to the island. So if visitors come here aware of that and prepared, then I think they have a much better time than if they come here expecting all the city mod cons.
The importance of shaping those expectations, isn't it? Making sure that message is sent out and that people really understand that they're going to somewhere that is completely different than what they used to.
Yeah, and I think possibly because it's sort of easy to get here. It's only half an hour on the plane from Launceston, and so it doesn't feel like you've gone that far. But I guess in that supply terms with the boat, then, we're remote. We haven't got trucks rocking up to restock our shops kind of every day or two. It's, there are limitations, and we are kind of classed as remote, even though on the map it doesn't look like we're that far from anywhere. And we can see the mainland on a good day. So,
So what are some of the best experiences you've had with visitors that you can recall? Like, is there any experience you've had when visitors have come in and you've been like, wow, that person really got us?
Actually, I met someone the other day who she was here for her first trip to Flinders. Her partner had been here in the past, but this was her first time here. And I was just chatting away with her, and she sort of mentioned that when she was a kid, and she didn't grow up in Australia, she grew up over in the US, and she said when she was a kid she used to love lying on the floor and looking through atlases and looking at maps and kind of finding all these fun little places in the world. And she remembers looking at this tiny little island, and in her head she called it Flinders Island because, you're a kid and you don't know how to pronounce things. But and so then to find herself here buying some land, like 30 years later, she was just, I don't know, I felt like she kind of, from a child, I guess, was looking for little places in the world that were interesting, and to find herself buying land on one, it was just really cool to see. So I think she kind of tuned into remote, out of the way places from a young age.
Oh, I just love that image of her sort of lying on the floor, finding it on the map, and then reflecting on that when she came to the island. I think that's beautiful. Actually, that's what we wanted to tell you, is that we just realized that the purple Swamphen bird is like the pukeko, right, from New Zealand.
Yes,
that we have.
correct.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. It wasn't deliberate. I guess looking back on it, I feel like I actually really love that as an emblem, because it's a bird that's kind of, we have it here on Flinders. There's heaps of them. They're hilarious little birds. I really love them. But they're also not just endemic to here. You do find them in other places in the world. And I guess I love that broader outlook. So I didn't want to lock myself into only having things that were made on Flinders Island, or to not encourage people to look kind of beyond our shores. And I guess, having that, kind of worldwide focus, or, more, broader focus, seemed really symbolic. Though at the time we didn't think that. We just went, oh yeah, they're fun little birds. Let's use that, because coming up with a name for a business is always hard. You don't always get it right. But I think I like the symbolism of the Swamphen.
I like that. It's like connecting you to something bigger than just yourselves. Yeah.
For sure. I think sometimes if you live on Flinders for a long time, you can get a little bit insular and forget to look beyond the borders and go, actually, no, we're doing pretty well here, or, hey, these other places are doing these things. Can we try that? Like, there's a balance, I guess, between, looking beyond and going, oh, what everyone else is doing is what we have to do, and balancing that with, well, hang on, no, we have different circumstances. How can we make this work together? Remembering to look outwards as well as looking after our inwards.
Nice.
Honouring the place you're in, right? The uniqueness of it.
Definitely. Yeah. But also recognising that, there are other little places in the world that are probably trying to do the same thing that we are, and how are they trying this out? How are they managing it?
Yeah. What's the message that you'd want to tell to us, or to people that are coming from away to visit Flinders? What do you want them to know about your island?
I guess come here and explore our beautiful island. There's so many different kind of not secret little spots, but amazing little spots that if you go and explore, you can find like a beach that's, kilometres long, or you might find a beach that's 5 metres long. You might find, trees that are stunted by the wind, and others that are, really tall. Yeah, there's a lot of diversity here. There's amazing mountain range down the middle. So, you've got that natural landscape. Yeah, just be open to getting out and looking at that. But also be ready to engage with the locals and just kind of listen to them and hear their stories and what brought them here. I guess most of us have chosen to live here for whatever reason, whether that's a family connection or just loving the community and the island, and moving here. A lot of us, I guess, have potentially given up, high-paying jobs in cities just to have this, in theory, slower pace lifestyle here. Although I have found the smaller the place I live, the busier I am. So I'm not sure that really works. I guess there's still the same number of jobs that have to be done by a smaller number of people. But I guess if you're visiting, recognise that, the shops aren't open every day. Most of us, will have another job, or at least try to protect those days off that we do get. So we're kind of not able to be, tourists beck and call and answer every whim. It's all a balance. And if people come here knowing that, then they're going to enjoy it a lot more and have much more positive engagement with the locals. But a lot of people say that we're a really friendly island. People come here and they're kind of not used to people waving at them as they drive past, or just smiling at them down the street. It's so having that kind of open mind, open heart when they come is really important.
You've just sold me. I want to come. Just the spectacular beauty that you describe, and then that sense of community. I have this feeling that when a visitor arrives on Flinders, you can feel that the community is really strong and really interwoven and interconnected.
Yeah, I think it's, of all the places I've lived, it's, I think, got a healthy sense of community. Yeah, it's very protective of itself, but not at the detriment of discouraging new people. I've lived places where if you haven't lived there for 30 years, then you will never make friends. Your only friends are also people who've only just moved there. Like, I've lived places like that, and I don't think that's a good thing. Whereas here, it feels like people are curious about what brings people here. And so they'll chat with someone in the shop, like, hey, what are you doing here? What brings you to Flinders, rather than kind of instantly going, oh my God, it's a stranger, let's not talk to them. It's, a much more welcoming atmosphere.
What brought you to the island, Mel?
My husband, he grew up here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, he always wanted to move home. He's got family here still. And I grew up on Kangaroo Island, so I guess I never thought I'd move back to an island. I hadn't really planned my life out that hard, but I guess feels, it's not an unexpected feeling to be living on a remote island. There's something, I guess, in me that's like, oh yeah, I've done that before. That's cool. But I'm kind of happy wherever I am, really, as long as, I don't know, I've got people around me who are awesome, then I don't really mind where I am, but this is a pretty good spot to be living right now.
Thank you for listening to Latitude 40, Redesigning Tourism on a Small Island. This podcast is part of the Island Away project, which is being undertaken on Flinders Island by Designing Tourism. The project is funded by the Tasmanian Government.
We also acknowledge Designing Tourism partners Flinders Council, Visit Northern Tasmania and the Tourism Collab. The music is by Judy Jacques and the introduction, read by Yana Monone, is an extract from the Flinders Island brand story, The Island Away. This podcast has been hosted and produced by Good Awaits, Debbie Clark and Josie Major, with audio production by Clary Macklin.